There we go. All right. Welcome to Entirely Live. I'm your host, Darion Robinson, and tonight we have an exciting one for you. The 65 game rule is getting crazy and might actually affect OKC. Braun is picking sides in Boston, and Victor Wembanyama is officially the future. We got legacies on the line in Cleveland and the GOAT debate in the WNBA that might start and end with Asia Wilson. So you're in the right place. But before we get into all of that, let me introduce my panel. I am with my girl, Ashley Chevalier. How you been?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Aaron, the beige bandit leader, who's always late apparently. Kyle Murph,
It was good. I'm surprised you had no wild shit to say.
not for you. And super smooth, said he can't put his phone down without it being blown up with 55 messages. Chris Lucci. I love it. All right, let's get right into it. So the 65 game rule has fundamentally shifted, at least the way this season has gone for 2025, 2026. As SGA clearly still remains the favorite in most people's eyes, he has missed his eighth straight game, and I think that puts him at around, 15 total games missed. If he misses three more games, he'll be ineligible for not only MVP, but all NBA teams and pretty much every award there is that you can win this season. Not only that, but his disqualification as amongst as the disqualification of other superstars around the league has kind of left the door wide open for Cade, right? That didn't really exist 2 years ago. So is this rule about to give us the most accidental MVP in league history in Cade Cunningham, or is he actually the best player in the East and more than well-deserving of this award? Let's start with you, Aaron.
Currently, yes, he is one of the best players of the East. I would say it's between him and Jaylen Brown at this moment in time. Obviously, if Giannis was still healthy, I would think he would be considered the best player in the East. But he's making an argument for it. You know what I mean? But like you said, major contenders like Giannis already out. Nikola Jokic, he's on the brink. He can only miss two more games. Are falling victim to this 65 game rule. I mean, if he misses two more, Cade effectively jumps to probably that number two or number three spot in the MVP voting poll by default. He's averaging, but he's making a strong case even if this rule wasn't a thing, right? He's averaging 25 points per game, 9 assists per game. And I think voters love a worst to first kind of story where 2 years ago they were on the verge of breaking the losing streak record, longest losing streak ever. And then now he's taking this Pistons team, which nobody expected to be number one in the East or number one seed in the East and competing for the number one overall seed in the NBA. And that historical narrative, I think, rivals SGA and what he did, last year with OKC. And I believe he's hitting sort of that MJ threshold, by averaging 26, 6, and 9 on that 46% shooting. This combined with Detroit's 81% win rate when he records 10 or more assists, I mean, it proves he's the engine of a contender and not just like a stat stuffer on a bad team when it comes to an MVP.
I like that. I like that. Sharing those same sentiments, Ashley, I kind of want to get your opinion on what you think it looks like for Cade and I guess for anybody else that's, I guess, no longer an MVP.
For one, I just feel like it would be kind of disrespectful to say it's an accidental MVP because at the end of the day, like, just because other people had other mishaps or had to sit out or decided to sit out for care, whatever it is, he stepped up and he was able to do what he is doing consistently. And that's all that matters. At the end of the day, when you're looking at an MVP candidate, you have to look at what they're doing, what they're able to do consistently, how they're able to lift their team up, how they're able to position their team for the playoffs. And Cade has done all those things. So regardless of everybody else, you can't really take away what he's been doing. So that's my biggest thing because I don't think when you're looking at the MVP candidate, you need to look at that individual person and then go to the next individual person. You don't look at like Cade and then you're like, yeah, he's doing this, but the other person wasn't able to do this, so that's really why he's doing it. Like, no, what other people are doing isn't affecting how he's been able to play and how he's been able to just hoop this season.
Okay, I love that a lot. Detroit being your team, Chris, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, right out the gate, the 65 game rule, it didn't create a fake MVP. It exposed durability and responsibility, right? You got supermax contracts, and you have a CBA where everybody's complaining, fans especially trying to figure out, You know what I mean? How my roster's supposed to be. This guy's overpaid. Okay. That's why they put the 65 game rule in. So that, all right, in order to be a super max, you have to be durable. You got to show up. So you can't have it both ways. Can't be the super max guy, don't be available, and then say I want all the awards and honors too. So the 65 game rule is perfect. I mean, I think that's, we're always talking about, man, you know, OG, you in the 90s and modern NBA. That's modern NBA. If you don't reach 65 games, that's not bad luck. That's modern NBA. That being said, I think the candidates for MVP are the actual candidates of MVP. I mean, Detroit Pistons had the worst season, right? They went from worst to first, right? Jaylen Brown, no Tatum. Everybody expected Boston not even to be a participant, you know what I mean, in the playoffs. They right there, they 1 and 2. So I don't look at it as Ashley said, ain't no disrespect. These are the real MVP candidates.
I mean, I get that. I know the Players Association is already pushing for a move towards 58 games or at least 60 games. The same number requires, I think, for a scoring title in the NBA. So because of that right now, I look at the rule from a fan's perspective and a player's perspective. Like, I don't think you should be punishing these players for these freak accidents or injuries. It's not. I get the load management thing is obviously a problem, but I think it's that number, that 65 games, is exceeding amount. Especially when this year we're looking at players that, that first team is not going to look like the best players in the league. It's really not. It's going to look probably like a second or third team, and that's where it gets a little tricky for me. So I think at least, going forward, if we can push that number down a little bit to get players in there, then I think we'll have a good middle ground between players, fans, and obviously the league. Kyle, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, nothing. I agree with Ashley and Chris. So like, it's disrespectful to say that it's an accidental MVP if Brown or Cade wins. The league is full of talent. So like, I think it's like what Chris was saying. They're shifting from durability and leadership, and Cade's just a new standard. JB's just a new standard. So it's just like, at first when they first brought out the 65 game rule, I was just like, I think it's stupid. They shouldn't do it. But like, looking at it now, it's going to take some time. It's going to be a transition period to get used to it. But I bet next year is not going to be this many all-stars on the bench that's on the verge of missing the awards, because Aaron talked about it a little bit before. Like, they're missing money. They're missing money, and they're giving money to, I guess, to people who don't need it, air quote, or who shouldn't deserve it. But it's just like, I think if we play it out, it's going to get back to the old ways of durability and people wanting to play and all the other moral reasons why you should play, for the people who saved up their money to come see you and you're sitting out for load management type stuff. But I agree with it. I just think it's disrespectful to say that it's going to be an accidental MVP.
And since we're on the terms of disrespectful, I would also say that the comments there that you're sharing about you anticipate more players playing more next year and the durability going up, I think that's disrespectful to insinuate that this year hasn't been that none of the injuries are legitimate for these players that are not sitting out or not pushing through. Would you say that's fair to say too?
I mean, history speaks. The reason why this came in is because people were doing load management, because people were sitting down too much. So it got too out of control. So they overcompensated and say, all right, 65 games. 65 games is great. It's only 17 games that you're missing, roughly. Like, that is a little bit amount of games, but I think they had to be so aggressive on it because it was getting so bad. On the other hand, like, where people were playing 40 games and being the MVP or arguably the MVP, when you talent-wise, you deserve it, but when it comes to actually being a professional player and doing what you have to do, they don't deserve it. Even though they're talented enough, they just don't deserve it because they're not playing enough games. Now, if you're really injured and you're really hurt and you tore your Achilles or something like that, then okay, like, that's different. But like, how many of those really happened besides last year? Like, how many of those are real? They're just saying load management or flu-like symptoms or hamstring pull right before the game.
I mean, let me address the whole, like, people getting first, second, or third team All-NBA or winning individual accolades because they only played 40 games, what you just said. That's a voter's fault, all right? You would think they would have common sense when it comes to voting and be like, all right, who I got on the ballot? Okay, hold up. Why is he on here? He only played half the season. You would think common sense would kick in. and they would factor that in. But that's the downside of it. Common sense ain't that damn common. So I don't see that being a player's fault. Like, oh, I missed 40 games, but somehow I still want an accolade. That's not my fault. I'm not voting myself in. That's somebody else. And another thing is like the whole 58 and 60 games. You said the Players Association is trying to vote in for next season. If that's keep it at 65. Keep it at 65. You don't need to make that shit any fucking lower. We're already bitching and moaning about it being 65. Imagine the bitching and moaning we finna do if it goes to 58, 60. I don't want to see that shit.
Aaron is spot on. Let me get in here. Listen. 56 is, what is it, 65 right now. That's
65, yes.
So that's 79%. That's 79% of the games. So 20% of the games, you're saying you can miss 20% of the games. 20% of what you're paid to do, you can miss and still be eligible for everything. You want to move it down to 58? Now you're going to 70%. That's 70%. That means 30% you're able to miss. You're comfortable with the players missing 30. Now, I'm for the players, but I just want to make sure when you hear that number, right, you can't just throw numbers out there and be disrespectful with them. 65 games out of 82, that's 79%. We're asking you to be at 79% of your job. So that's missing 21%, right? Then Jaylen Brown was just the highest. He was just awarded the highest paid player in NBA history. So he's a $300+ million man. But yet he's showing up without his running mate, no stars. He has no all-stars, and being durable and playing. But you want to, you know what, man, shoot, such and such, he might miss 2 more games. Man, we need to make sure they're working. No, that's bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. That's bullshit. I don't see why that makes sense. I don't agree with that.
Well, my thing is this, like, let's say I've rarely gotten injured in my career, right? And this season I'm out with a quad injury, which takes on average about 4 to 6 weeks, which in an NBA season is roughly 12 to 24 games. So if I'm on the latter end of that, 24 games, right there, I'm already out for any awards for the rest of the season. That's not crazy to you guys?
I just feel like you're trying to accommodate for real life situations. Like that's what's going to happen in high school, or when you don't have any other option. Like that's just, it happens. Like in any other things, like it's how life goes. So you might be having the season of your life, but then injury strikes. How are you going to respond to that? How are you going to deal with that adversity? Why are we going to continue to try to accommodate real life situations? That's the problem. Like things have just gotten so soft. Like at the end of the day, I do understand that there are like considerations, but I think the biggest problem is like, why did this rule have to come into play? Because people abuse the system. So now, because people can't abuse the system the same, now we have people that are like, okay, let's change the system so people can abuse it a little bit differently. Like in any situation, people are going to try to get over. So I think that, especially like when you think about, load management and all this stuff and how that's kind of become a part of the game. Like, I feel like at the end of the day, longevity is probably about the same, but it looks different because you have players back then who would play the whole season, fight through these injuries, not take time off. But now you have people who have these longer careers because they played less games. They have, again, finessed the system to elongate their careers. And I'm not saying that, it's a terrible idea, but I mean, it's give and take. But I don't think we should make room for players to continue to like abuse it.
It's give and take. Ashley's spot on with that.
Injuries is part of the game.
But now I can understand. Oh, go ahead, Kyle.
No, that's injuries part of the game. Like in the 90s, they used to show the little the graphic of like showing people's bodies of like what was hurting or what was not. Like Iverson, they had a graphic. It was like his whole body was red, but he was still playing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you can't get like, I think that they are making these, I want to say superficial because, was it Halliburton came back, he had a calf strain and he ended up tearing his Achilles, but that's just like one of those one-offs. But these superficial tweaks that are now like, you have to sit down for X amount of time because like you want to get rest because you want to make sure you're saving yourself for the playoffs. Like that like Ashley was saying, it makes it soft. It takes away the fun of the game. Like we've seen injuries in people's careers, which is why I understand why they want to kind of push back a little bit on injuries and baby the injuries. But at the end of the day, like, it's your job. You signed up for it. Basketball, I mean, injuries are part of basketball. Like, it's going to happen regardless, no matter what rules you put in play.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of understand if, like, let's say a player, he's played 63, 64 games, and next, a freakish injury happens. Unfortunately, because of the 65-game rule, he's now ineligible for any awards. Now, in that sentiment, I can see how somebody would want to be accommodating. You played 63, 64 straight games, and then at the very last moment, boom, something happens. But to sit up here and accommodate somebody who misses here and there on a regular basis, no, we're not doing that. No. Injuries are part of the game. Nobody can control it. You can't control it. The NBA Players Association, the NBA front office, league front office can't control it, and neither can the voters. So I don't want to see this shit move from 65 to 58 or potentially 60. No, we've accommodated these guys enough.
Let me give you the business side of it. Let me get my agent hat on for a second. Remember now, they were rewarded. This is a negotiation between the Players Association, the union, which is the players, that works for the players, and the league. A max contract. What is a max contract for our viewers? A max contract is a percentage of the salary cap. The percentage of the max contract has always been 25%. It has moved from 25, 30, and 35. You have 3 segments now. So a super max is 35%. That means one player makes 35% now of the salary cap for that team. So that's the super max. So the league on their side, they're like, cool, y'all want more money? You want to stretch this gap between the top player and the minimum guy? No problem. It's going to come with some sanctions. You got to play 65 games. We asking you to play 79% of the games to get that 35%. I don't know if all our viewers know that, right? That player that's getting 35% of the entire cap for your team, whoever your team, Los Angeles Lakers, Boston Celtics, Detroit Pistons, Toronto Raptors, Washington Wizards, they're saying, man, give us 80%, give us 79% of the games.
Very fair. All right, so if we're talking about availability defining MVP value, then we have to look at a guy who hasn't missed a beat. We already discussed this, Jaylen Brown in Boston, right? LeBron's endorsement of Jaylen as an MVP candidate on the 22nd of February has kind of set social media on a tear, coming off that 111-89 just dismantling of the Lakers, shout out Aaron, where Brown put up 32 points, 8 boards, and 7 assists. The King didn't just praise the performance, he called out the entire MVP voting process because of it. So Jaylen is averaging 29 points a game, and on a Tatum-less Celtics team, one that we talked about before being just completely different than it was last year, the team is still at number 2 in the East. What more does Jaylen Brown have to do to earn the respect or at least move up that MVP ladder? So do you, Chris.
Yeah.
Cade.
No, nothing, because Cade has an all-star. Cade has a hell of a player on this team with him, that's an all-star. Jaylen doesn't, and it's a totally different team, and he's leading. So, I mean, LeBron didn't create the Jaylen Brown MVP buzz. What he did is he validated, and I'm with him. I'm in complete agreement with the King on this one. Jaylen Brown is the MVP of this season.
Here's the thing that gets me about this whole thing. So Jayson Tatum, he's been sidelined since May 2025 with that torn Achilles, right? And many expected the Celtics to essentially fold this season. They had them projected to finish 8th in the East, but 16th overall at the beginning of the season. He has them, Jaylen Brown, at 37-19, at 2nd in the East, and he's carrying essentially a whole new team, a roster that lost Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis, and obviously Jayson Tatum. He's averaging 29 points a game. That's 4th in the NBA, 7 rebounds and 5 assists a game. He's a primary playmaker. All right, he's proven that. He's doubled down on LeBron's praise even by labeling himself the best two-way player in the world. And here's what pissed me off about the most recent MVP poll that ESPN did. The fact that they are not acknowledging that this man is literally carrying this team through their circumstances that they're going through right now with a whole new roster and Jayson Tatum being gone. And he has them second. If I have my team second, even though you projected me to finish 8th in my conference and 16th overall, I feel like I should be higher in that MVP poll. But instead, they have him outside the top 5. That's bullshit.
Facts.
They even have Cade outside the top 5, which is bullshit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If you can't see the fucking writing on the wall of why these two should be higher than Jokic, be higher than Wemby, and be higher than Luka, then I don't understand what the fuck these voters need more to see.
It's all fan shit. That's
Yeah.
why. That's why Steve
Fan
Nash
favoritism.
can win 2 MVPs, because there's always some fan shit going on with this voting system. This is bullshit.
It's just mind-boggling to me that you don't see this situation and you can't validate what he's doing. He's not supposed to be where he's at right now, second in the East, averaging what he's averaging.
No doubt.
Very well said. Very well said. Kyle, Cade or Jaylen? Who's your
Cade.
pick?
Cade.
Why do you have Cade over Jaylen?
So, not that I think Jalen's doing well or doing bad. For every reason that Aaron just said, like JB's story that he has for what they expect, his expectations, what he's doing, and how he's playing is great. I kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier. He hasn't beaten Detroit, so I think they're both just as impactful for each other's team. But at the end of the day, like Cade was just last, about to make a historic loser streak in the NBA, and then he just came back and he's first in the East now. So it's just like, and he's not doing it at a low clip. He's averaging 25, damn near 10 and 6. So it's like, if you take him off Detroit is right back at the bottom. I understand that they have Duren, but Duren is not Duren without Cade, because he's a traditional-ish type post player. So Cade opens so much opportunity for the team that I think if you take him off, it'll be more of an impact than if you would take Jaylen Brown. I think they both be bottom of the East, but I'm taking Cade over because of record. They've beaten Boston 3-1, and Cade's performing like he's literally the offense of the team. He's not as good of a defender as JB, but he still plays both sides. So I'm taking Cade.
Ashley, do you agree that Jaylen has to beat Cade in order to climb that ladder? Do you think that will help?
I mean, I think that would help just because of the perception that people have and like how people kind of see things as black and white. Cade and his team's number 1, so that's what a lot of people are going to see and what a lot of people are going to like take from that. So I can understand the reasoning, but personally, I don't necessarily think that has to be done for him to be regarded higher than Cade, but I can see the argument.
I agree with that. I think one other sentiment that I was kind of thinking about when we did the pod with Players' Choice is this comment right here. Does anybody on this panel feel that because the Celtics were able to revamp their roster and kept winning without Jayson Tatum, that maybe the league, fans, whoever, the media just has already decided that it's the system that's in place that has allowed him to do this stuff, not the man?
Let me ask you this.
He averages 30 points a game.
Let's take away Brown and Tatum. I'd say the only person that probably fit that system is what, Curry, because they shoot a bunch of threes.
Maybe Donovan Mitchell. We talked about that too.
Maybe, but is the record the same?
No.
Because we got to remember, Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum do more than just put that bitch in the hole. They play defense. They play defense. And there's one is 6'8", and the other one's like 6'9", 6'10". Got to factor that in as well. Both supremely athletic.
Okay. Fair enough.
Because I'm picking Cade because of the record and just the match that they had, but I don't think people could even name the starting 5 for the Celtics currently. Like right now, I don't think they can name a starting 5 for the Celtics.
You can name probably 2 or 3 players: Derek White, Peyton
You
Pritchard,
got
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah,
And
like
doesn't
you
what's
think
his name they just got? No.
That's
Yeah,
sports.
exactly. You don't even remember who they just got.
No. Vucevic. No, I know who they got because first of all, we're not going to sleep on Vucevic just because I temporarily forgot his
I'm
name.
not saying
they just
But
got
if you
him.
ask somebody to name the Celtics starting five, they're gonna name those three. The other ones, you can be like, wait, who they just get? It's like you
Yeah,
said.
like
No.
we got that Quinta. I don't know. They're a good team, and then you got Peyton Pritchard, who is a midget when it comes to the NBA standard, who's
Kyle,
giving
he's the
you
same height
30.
as us. Don't say that.
I said
Because then
NBA
you're calling us
standard.
a
I said
midget.
in the NBA we short, but in the NBA standard, he was giving you 30. Like no one would ever predict that Pritchard was going to do that. Derek White just showed out and just started being this great every utility.
He was doing that. He was doing that last year and the year before.
No. I'm just saying, like he developed himself, but he wasn't like drafted to be like, oh, he's going to do this. He made himself. So like, I think he's just playing. Jaylen Brown's literally playing with a bunch of B-list players and dragging that team to second in the East. And that there's not a single A-list player on that team besides Jaylen Brown, or even B+.
Facts.
Vucevic hasn't even proven himself yet. So
Proving himself. Where? No, that's where.
here, he just got here.
So
He just got to
everything he
Boston.
did before he got to Boston is not proving yourself as a player.
But you have to be a part of the system. You can't just put somebody in a team and expect them to be good. There's a small amount of people that you can put on any team and it'll be good. The Currys, the Brons, the KDs, like those caliber players. Vucevic is not in that caliber player.
No,
He has
I
to
see what he's
be
saying
part of the
because like
system.
that's why I wasn't gung ho about the whole James Harden thing. I was like, he has to prove to me that this shit gonna work. So I get what Kyle's saying. He hasn't proved that like he can fit within the system.
If Jaylen is not there, right? Don't we think that he's creating so that Peyton Pritchard and Derek White and these guys Vucevic can even have some level of success?
Yeah.
I mean, he's the scouting report is stop Jaylen Brown, right? So he going bananas, and then when you double, or you close, the driving lane, if you will, or you get him to pick it up, he's creating for the others. They're not coming out and creating for him.
I would say Peyton, but I said minus Peyton. Peyton Pritchard gets his buckets on his own.
He gets his bucket.
He's a one-on-one player.
Yeah,
But everybody else,
And
yes.
he don't miss. And he don't miss.
they don't miss a lot.
All right, very well said. So while Jalen's out there proving his competitive fire every night, that does lead me to a tougher question about the next generation. So we're looking at Darren Peterson's situation, and at least from what I'm reading, many people are saying he lacks the competitive spirit to want to go out and compete at the highest level. Others are saying that it's his injuries, and they're much more serious than we all know. So my question for you guys is, as an organization, as a coach, as a GM, would you rather draft a player who lacks the competitive spirit or one that is ridiculed by constant injury? I want to start with you, Ashley.
Probably. Oh, that's tough. My first mind says lacks competitive spirit, but like, I don't know. But I guess I'll go with that. That's tough though, because it's kind of hard to say that, because I feel like that's plagued in the NBA anyway. So I don't think that you can separate those two at this point. So I would take my chances with lack of competitive spirit, I guess.
I love that. Chris, you being on this side and seeing it up close, what are you taking?
This is a real tough one, because Ashley, everything that she said and the fact that it was in the lack of, right, is just kind of where it's at. We're just arguing or we're just debating a few moments ago about, come on, man, 65 games, right? We're just debating about the NBA in 65 games. So now here we are on the college side. Is he hungry or not? He's the best talent. He's the best talent. Mark Workentine, who taught me when I was working with the Portland Trail Blazers, who was the VP of the Portland Trail Blazers, he always taught me, get the best talent in the draft, get the assets. You guys remember Portland Trail Blazers had all of those power forwards? Zach Randolph, Rasheed Wallace, Jermaine O'Neal, they had everybody. He was like, they're their assets. Don't pick your team based off, oh, we need a point guard. Oh, now we need a center. Nope, get the assets. He said then trade deadline comes up and everybody's calling. Darren Peterson is the best talent. Everything else, let's figure it out. But he's the best talent. It's like, do you want to pass up on Jordan? Do you want to pass up on Melo, Detroit? Do you want to pass up on the talent to say, well, my man over here, yeah, my man is hungry. There are guys that's, that are showing the competitive spirit. At least to us as fans and watching, we can see that there's other people in this draft that are competing and playing minutes. And we see something is going on with Darren Peterson. But we don't know. But what we do know is he is the most talented player in this draft. And if I have the opportunity to get the most talented player in the draft, I'm taking that asset. Because if it don't fit, if it don't work, if we find we want to pivot, you can always pivot with that talent later and do something different. That's my take.
I respect your take, but you did not answer the question. So I want to repeat. Because I need you to answer this. Are you taking?
Okay.
Thank you. Would you rather draft a player that lacks the competitive spirit or one that is injury ridiculed? Let's assume the talent is equal for this.
Lacks the competitive spirit.
Really?
Yeah, because the one that's just always going to be injured, I don't want to just call people out, but,
Greg Oden.
Nah, that was injury riddled.
I mean, Big Greg was. I mean, I don't know. Darion has to define this injury riddle. You know what I mean? To make sure that we all understand the definition of it, so to make sure we understand it.
Oh my
Let's
God.
just say like
okay,
he's going to have
so-
Kawhi Leonard or DeAndre Ayton. One is always injured. One, I don't know what I'm going to get on a daily basis.
That's a great
exactly
comparison.
right. Thank you.
That's a
That's
great
exactly what I had
comparison.
in mind. Yes, that's exactly right.
Kawhi
Except
Leonard
for-
or
except for
DeAndre
I didn't
Ayton.
have
One
Kawhi.
is always
I had-
injured, and the other
I had
one, you don't know
AD
what you're going to
and
get.
AD and Embiid.
Yeah.
AD and Ayton, but yeah. So what you
Give me
got,
the
Chris?
Kawhi.
So your injury? Okay, injury ridicule.
I mean,
Okay, well, why you sit and ponder that?
Go on
For
to the
me, for me at least, I think from a standpoint of like, when I think about the future of my team, I think I'm always going to take the injury risk player. I think especially with modern medicine now, despite what we've seen with Embiid, AD, and Kawhi, I feel like you can always have a chance to fix some type of hamstring injury or whatever it may be. I don't think you can really necessarily fix that lack of dog in a player, especially if the dog doesn't want to compete at 17, 18, 19, 20. He isn't going to start wanting to compete at 25 or 26 when he has $100 million in the bank. I think history kind of shows us that like those injury-prone players, like we talked about with Kawhi, Embiid, AD, who eventually found health at least in a season or two and have won or at least had chances to win. I think that means so much more to me. I think it's so much harder to get someone motivated who just seems disinterested. That's tough for me. That mental side is very tough. So I'd rather fuck with the doctors and the players with the injuries.
but okay. But going in your example with Kawhi is typically labeled as not having the hunger, right? His whole team stood up against him and said, essentially, he was faking his injury when he was with the Spurs. So Darren Peterson, everyone is judging and saying, "What's up? He don't want to play." I get this whole dynamic is about the assumption that he doesn't have a desire. We're using that player specifically, and he may be on the Kawhi tip. You know what I mean? Where I'm hurt. My injury is more than what you guys know or understand. I don't know where you stand with Kawhi. You guys are saying that he a dog and that he wants to play.
Yeah.
But I would say that fans would say that he doesn't want to play. You know what I mean? So
I mean,
I've
fans can
always
say whatever they want to say about Kawhi, but his peers say his problem is that he actually works too much. And to say that whole San Antonio situation where his teammates were saying like, "Oh, he's not really hurt like that, and he ain't got that drive in him." Well, he quickly erased that by winning the championship the moment he got traded. So we can't even say that about Kawhi Leonard. All right.
okay, so let me ask you.
That's
So
the example. I'm
does-
taking Kawhi all day.
You taking Kawhi all day?
I mean, in that example, yeah. I mean, it's just.
I mean, if you ask me, you're fucked either way.
I mean,
It's a double-edged sword.
he's injury prone, and then probably doesn't necessarily fight through injuries, or doesn't fight through like he hasn't been available for essentially anyone since Toronto. Would you say, Ash?
I can't hear you, Ashley.
Are you muted?
Yeah, my bad. I was just saying you love to pick the question apart.
Right. That's
Yeah, my bad.
But I think with this question though,
You're
it's
right.
like
Yeah, fuck it.
it's okay.
Just
But I
mute
think
me.
with this question, it's like controllable versus not controllable. You can't control injuries. You can't control like how a person's body reacts, but you can try to maintain it. You can try to sustain it. But when you look at like the competitive spirit, I think you have a better chance of somebody being put into a new environment when you're no longer not even like probably one of the best players. If you look at the whole league as a whole, like when you step on, there's only a few people that step on to the court as a debut rookie and just one of the best people out there. And I think that you would think that that added level of competitiveness would be a factor in that. And I think that once the transition from like college or high school to college is a little bit different, like it's not as big as a jump, I don't think, as college to pros, So I think that's why I would take the competitive spirit, because it's possible, and I think that with the right fire lit under you, then yeah, but like you can't help somebody's body and how they react to movements and certain things.
I mean, look, for me, because I know I haven't answered the question yet, give me the one that's always constantly injured, because I can fix that by changing your training regimen, your food. I mean,
I don't know if you can fix
hold
it.
on. I'll let y'all cook. Let me get my shit off.
Go
I'll
ahead.
let y'all cook.
Go ahead.
I say you're more likely to fix somebody who always gets constantly injured, because maybe you can change the way he eats, the way he trains, the way he sleeps, the way he recovers. That's easier to fix. If I got to constantly light a fire under your ass so I can get the best out of you, that sounds like babysitting to me. I'm not fucking doing that shit. You a grown-ass man or you a grown-ass woman, all right? I shouldn't have to constantly worry about what I'm going to get from you on a day-to-day basis, whether it be in practice or a game. I'm not doing that shit. I'm paying you all this money. That should be your motherfucking motivation, all these goddamn money I'm paying you, all right? I'm not willing to deal with that. We've seen Steph Curry, who got that label of always being easily injured or always injured, and he quickly turned that around, and look what happened, all right? Kawhi was the same way. Granted, we still get a little bit of it here and there, but I would still rather take Kawhi over a fucking DeAndre Ayton, or I'd rather take an AD over a goddamn DeAndre Ayton. I'd rather deal with that because I know what I'm going to get from AD on a consistent basis, as opposed to this player who, if he stubbed his toe this morning, wake it up, that's it. He's done for the rest of the day. His motivation is gone.
Okay, hold on. You can't keep picking shitty players and then comparing them to elite.
I picked Steph Curry and Kawhi Leonard.
No, hold on. So hold on. Who is the elite player that got to be motivated? Let's put him, because AD, what you getting out of AD? He done been traded 3 times, right? Recently, boom, 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 boom. He being passed around.
Injury,
Kawhi,
not because of motivation.
Okay. I got it. It's not because of, you
Ben-
said
just
not
say Ben
because of
Simmons.
motivation, but what are you getting? What are the organizations getting out of AD right now at this stage of his career with all of these injuries? The Lakers have underperformed, went to Dallas. They done shipped him right up out of there. What's next, right? Now he's going to the Wizards. Kawhi, what have the Clippers got out of? Listen, I'm all for the talent. I'm saying, all right, put me another hell of a time. I'm always going to pick the talent. Don't matter what it is. Injury prone, don't want to play today. I don't give a shit. Give me the best player. So who is the other great player that you're saying has to be motivated to compare with your Kawhi and your AD comparisons?
I don't know. Has there ever been one?
Oh, see.
I'm gonna say, I don't.
Has there ever been a great player who had a problem with motivation and competitive spirit? Who is it?
Well, Ben Simmons. I mean, he was great. Like, he had
fair.
every
His mental,
attribute.
yeah.
Yeah, his mental was what fucked him up.
Ben
And did he-
was elite.
And did he
Ben was
overcome
a
that?
problem. No, that's what I'm
Evidently
saying.
not. No,
No,
that-
he
exactly.
ain't even in the league.
I'm on your side. Like, I
Exactly.
think-
So we've seen injured players overcome that bad that negative on them of always being constantly injured. I've never seen a player who had that negative on them of never being motivated overcome it. So if you can name me one, I'll change my mind.
Oh,
This
no,
conversation is not making
Westbrook.
sense.
Westbrook, and they try to dog Westbrook mentally. No, not saying he was, but people. Are you talking about like fans try to?
Are you saying Russell Westbrook lacked competitive spirit?
Whoa,
No,
what's
no.
going on here?
I'm saying people try to dog him. No, he has probably the most competitive spirit like in NBA history. I'm just talking about like people try to dog him and like he overcame a narrative for him. That's what I was trying to say, but not that.
But we're not talking about a narrative. We're talking about
okay, all right,
overcoming
that's me.
the
That's
lack of competitive
reaching.
spirit. Name a player name a great player whose
no
problem
fucking
was I have a
player.
lack of competitive spirit
This is crazy.
and overcame that.
Okay,
Can you
so there's
name
no player?
No,
So
no.
all of the players in the NBA, all of the great players in the NBA they all got a great competitive spirit. All of them are, he just so happened to be injured.
No, it's
He's a
not,
dog,
it's
though.
not to the point where you
What the
need to
fuck are we
work
talking
on it.
about?
It's not to the point where you need to work on it and coach it. Like, because I agree with Darion and Aaron, and to maintain consistency, like injuries is part of the game. So with modern day medicine and all the stuff that you got going on, like you can come back from Achilles tear and still be efficient. Like I know I'm comparing him to KD, but at the end of the day, like you can work on that because if you're competitive, you want to get back on the court. So you're going to do everything you can to get back on the court. But if you don't have that competitive spirit, you're not my son. I'm not going to try to teach you how to be competitive. You made it all the way to the NBA, and I got to tell you how to play ball? Like, that's crazy to me. Like, that just don't make sense.
Ashley, answer this. The players that we're discussing with the 65-game rule and load management taking over the league, are all of those players competitive spirit players in your book?
No.
So what the fuck are... Thank you, Ashley. Thank you.
But they're moving
But
with
it
the
never been
time.
questioned
They
for their
didn't come
competitive
in with
spirit.
The question was for Ashley. Hey. The question was for Ashley. You motherfuckers can be
moving
quiet.
with
The
the
question is
time.
for Ashley.
They're progressing with the time. That's what I'm saying. Like,
No.
they didn't come in. You had to coach.
I don't see that. It
All
goes
this
back to my
adding y'all
thing. Like,
doing to it,
I answered your question by asking you, can you name a player that had a problem with competitive spirit but overcame it? What great player has done that?
all the players that you guys are naming, what I'm saying, why I asked Ashley that, the players that y'all are using say, well, see my man over here with all of these issues and not playing through in the load management, those are the ones that our fan base, I'm sure, would consider, this is the motherfucker I got to motivate to play.
would you say
You
that
didn't have
about
to
SGA?
motivate Allen Iverson to go out there and play. You just discussed it. He was playing hurt. So all these guys that have to be motivated, these are the guys, the injury prone, that's different. That's AD. He fucking fall down and just bam. But these other guys on the load management, to me, they fall into the motivating that has to be motivated to play. Otherwise,
not talking
there
about
is
the
no
load.
category of these people you're talking about. It doesn't
I'm
exist.
talking about players that specifically actually get legitimately injured. I'm not talking about the ones that just take a day off on a back-to-back on a road trip. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about the ones that seriously have
Kawhi
legitimate
figure out-
injuries.
Y'all said change your diet. Did Kawhi figure out how to change his diet? Is his diet changed? Because he's been in the league how many years now? 13, 14 years? Is the diet changed?
For
Like
for
14,
the sake
15
of the
years, something
question.
like that.
I
Okay,
think
so has
Aaron
diet
Peters-
changed? Y'all said I can fix that shit. So did you fix it? He in LA, best medicine, best everything available to him, all of the treatments. Did it get fixed? No, right? So they shipped, they done tore the whole team up. He stood up and said, yeah, that shit is over with just the other day when they interviewed him. So now you're saying, but Kawhi, yo, you ain't got to motivate. And this is no disrespect. I'm just addressing the question. He's in that category, guys. Y'all putting every player that's good, they don't have to be motivated. And saying Kawhi and all these other guys, they don't have to be motivated. But this player that didn't pan out, just wasn't good. That's the motherfucker that needed to be motivated. You're going with apples and oranges, and this question.
For the
is-
question about Darren Peterson, I think he's damaged goods, and I would take him because he's damaged goods, and you can work on that. I don't think. I don't want to say he's disinterested because we haven't seen him play. We haven't given him that chance to get into the league yet. I just think he's damaged goods. As of right now, for what they're saying, he has injuries and he can't finish a full game, but he has a talent. He's just damaged goods from what it looks like.
All right, that
And
sounds
you
great.
just said you would take Darren Peterson, Chris, even though he has an injury problem.
I said
I really picked AJ DeBanz.
I don't give a shit what it is. That was my thing.
So how you gonna get on me for picking a player that gets injured? Like what?
I'm not. I'm just trying to say that you guys are. There's no two sides. It's all in one box. Y'all are labeling all of them, guys that are having issues with injuries. That's all. You're not. You don't have a qualifying group of players to identify that's talented and say, well, this player needs motivation. You putting them all in the same box.
Okay, so we talk about competitive souls, and there's a team in the East, I think, that just found theirs outside of Harden just getting injured. The Cleveland Cavaliers just locked up a statement win, 109 to 94 in New York, flipping the script from their Christmas Day game. This game was a masterclass, especially from interior dominance and second half adjustments. So, I mean, I really have to shout out Cleveland for this. Does this say more about how Cleveland has gotten better with the addition of James Harden, or does this say more about New York and struggles they may be having against teams? I want to start with you, Kyle.
I think you're gonna start with me. I think it's a testament for both. I think that Cleveland is, I like, especially from the year that they had last year, they don't want to be the has-been team or the team that is like has all this stuff on paper, but they're not producing or performing. So I think it is a testament to them that they're finding their chemistry and actually trying to win the game, because the Knicks are a solid team. Now, when it comes to the Knicks, I think we have to find our identity. We don't have like a definitive second scorer. I mean, Cat should be it, but like we rely too much. Like I said before, we rely too much on Brunson. It's just a lot of ISO ball. We don't have the greatest post appearance when it comes to Cat, because he likes to shoot too much, in my opinion. Mitchell Robinson can't shoot a free throw. He's a very traditional center. So I think it's a testament to both good and Cleveland side, but we just got to figure it out, because I mean, we're still 30 something and 22. So like the Knicks are still playing well. It's just, they got to get their identity together, figure out who's going to be the next best player on the team.
I like that. Aaron, I'm going to shift the question just slightly here, because we had this discussion, you, Ashley, and I were in Nashville, about how it would kind of work with Harden being in Cleveland and if they would gel in the system and yada, 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 right? So far, I think they're, 10 games in, and they look pretty solid. So tell me, from your opinion, do you see, or does your opinion change on how you feel they could exceed in the postseason with what they have and what you've seen?
Cleveland or New York?
Cleveland.
Oh, I still have no faith in them niggas. We just found out this morning that motherfucker broke his thumb, James Harden. So now what's going to happen? And like I said, yeah, cool. Regular season. What's going to happen when the playoffs start? All right? What's going to happen? The same shit we've seen for the past, I don't know how many years when James Harden's in the playoffs. So I still have no faith in Cleveland this year. All right? Next year, different story, because they'll have a full preseason, a full summer, and a full training camp. Come back to me and ask me that same question. But Kyle, your Knicks are fucked. All that shit y'all
Identity
added
crisis.
don't mean a
Identity
motherfucking
crisis.
thing.
Identity crisis.
You had it.
That's all it is.
Jose Alvarado, or GTA, whatever that nigga's name is. Jeremy Shohan, Miles McBride. You called up a white boy from the G League who had a little bit. Jordan Clarkson, and it don't mean a fucking thing. All right, I'm gonna let you know this right now, Kyle. Carl Anthony Towns needs to stop his. I don't know. His problem is getting in foul trouble and shooting the damn three ball too much. Jalen Brunson, ISO ball, but we already knew that. My question is this: you brought in Mike Brown to fix all of that. You even added more to your roster, so you could play more people. You could go 8, 9 deep, potentially 10. And yet your offense hasn't changed a lick. It is still ISO ball.
It's straight. Give the ball to Brunson. Last 5 seconds. If he can't
I would not be surprised if the Knicks don't make it back to bare minimum the Eastern Conference Finals. I would not be surprised if Mike Brown gets fired, because how is it that you added more, but you achieved less?
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, under Tom Thibodeau, they were a top defensive team last year. Under Mike Brown, they have plummeted to 19th in defensive rating.
Yeah.
Cat,
Man, everybody had so much to say about that 8-man rotation, and it worked because you have a lot of good players. You have a lot of 6 men in a year on one team. Like it just doesn't make sense why we have so many good, solid players. I don't want to say like great players. We have a lot of solid players and Bridges and Clarkson and fucking everybody else that we have. It's just everybody. Ironically, everybody's playing too nice to be in New York, and like you're supposed to be a tough team, tough battle team, tough grit team. Everybody's playing too nice, and then just like, all right, well, Brunson averages X amount, and just give him the ball, he's gonna bail us out because he makes a lot of bailout buckets, and so now I think everybody's just relying on that, and we know that Cat can shoot a three, so that's all he wants to do is shoot threes, and he looks afraid to get in the paint. So he's got to find the identity and start playing bully ball again. I'm sure I never thought I'd say it. I miss Randall, man. I miss Julius.
You brought in Mike Brown to get your offense better while still keeping the same defensive intensity, and I ain't seeing it.
Not one piece.
None of it.
Well, hold on. We ain't gonna just keep pounding Mike Brown. First of all right, hell of a coach. But I think maybe we're gonna get off Mike Brown real quick. But I mean, they got 6 guys in double figures. You got 3 others a point off double figures. Got a lot of guys. You know what I mean? I think it may be a rotation mix. I think you're right on that, trying to figure it out. I think Mike is a guy that has a lot of experience, and I wouldn't count the Knicks out, to be quite honest with you. I think in the playoffs, I think the Knicks are going to be, no disrespect, I think Boston and Detroit are going to be really challenged and we're going to find out just how good they are when the playoffs hit. So I think the Knicks, it's like, how like with LeBron, you always kind of felt like as long as he in striking distance, he a fucking problem. I think the Knicks, as long as they're in striking distance, as long as they can get, first round home, they're good. You don't want to see them in the Final Four of the Eastern Conference. That's going to be a tough matchup for anybody. Yeah. So I don't really think that it's, sound the alarm for the Knicks. I think it's like, shit, all right, we took a couple of L's. We don't have to end the season with the best record because we have more experience than those ahead of us. Therefore, I can take a couple L's here and there to figure out what I got going on with the rest of my roster, finding out because injuries and things are going to happen throughout the playoffs. Let me find out what Jordan Clarkson give me. Let me find out what some of these other guys can give me, so I know where I'm going in the playoffs. Mike Brown, man, A1. Let's see.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll check on.
I mean, but that's just my opinion. You feel? That's just my take. Yeah, that's just me. Yeah.
I believe you're gonna turn around.
Of course you do. You Knicks and Cowboys fans, very similar. So my question then, sticking with Harden just a little bit, because I'm a fan right now. If Harden is able to win with Cleveland this year, right? Chances are slim. But if he does, where does that put James Harden ranked all time?
What we talking about? Win, D? Win what?
Championship, I think.
He has to win it all. He has to add that to the list.
Are you talking about for his position or all time, just in general?
Where does his name go all time? Position wise, I have him at the 4th spot. Like obviously,
yeah, I think
that's not changing. He's not going against or going above D Wade. But where does it rank him all time? Keep in mind his accolades, man. MVP, I mean, he's 9th all time scoring, right? 12th in assists, 2nd all time in 3 points, MVP, 3 scoring ties, 2 assist titles. The only thing he doesn't have is the ring.
I'll put him in somewhere between 15, 20.
Does it push him past AI or Clyde?
Ooh.
I want to say yes.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Say that again for me, Ashley. Just a little louder.
I said I think it does. Unfortunately, I do think it does. Put him past
Ashley, you Benedict Arnold. Oh my God.
She's a realist.
I am. What would be your justification for it not?
Because I can't put anybody above my nigga AI. Can't.
Okay,
Okay,
so
that
that
just
doesn't
sounds
fucking matter.
biased.
Oh yeah, it's definitely biased. I don't give a damn. It's just like you with KD.
But hold on now. Let's slow down. But if someone were to come up and pass KD with the accolades and has everything to do so, I will rightfully so, hand to God, say I'll rank you over Kevin Durant. Yes.
So if Cooper Flag eventually passes KD, you gonna give him his flowers?
Same person I was thinking of, too.
That's a
Yeah,
crazy
exactly.
name.
Why you choking
That's a
up?
crazy name to throw out there. But I'd have to. Yes, I would. I'd have to. I'd say on an all-time list. Yes.
Hey, clip this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back to this in 20 years.
So let me ask you this. Let me throw a wrinkle in there.
Mm-hmm.
Let me throw a wrinkle in there. Let's just use AI. AI stayed on the team, Philadelphia 76ers. No all-stars, a bunch of just solid role-playing dudes. Took his team to the championship. Faced arguably one of the GOATs, right? Faced one of the GOATs. Didn't pull it off, got there. James Harden been all over the league, been everywhere. Done played with Hall of Famers. Chris Paul, KD, Russ, been everywhere. Dwight, he been everywhere. Done played with everybody. Now forces his way out. No disrespect, I'm just calling him a spade, forces his way out, goes to a team that's been a front runner in the league the last 3 years in the East, right? With Bernie or without, bigger staff, I'm talking about from a coaching standpoint, and feel like they got to add something to try to, to stay relevant, comes over there with a perennial all-star. And okay, yes, if they pull it out with Giannis and others hurt, you guys saying all these guys are hurt. So now he gets a championship. That ring, oh my God, that championship is now going to elevate him now to surpass whoever it is that you have in front of him. Wherever he's at, to me, that ring doesn't change anything. Whatever that is. Whatever that
We've
is.
already seen it before with KD.
I was gonna say, at what point does that argument become obsolete? Because with the way that the NBA is, like, we can't continue to make that comparison. Like, I'm with you that I wish that players would stay in one spot, go through hell and high waters with them, and eventually get a ring. But unfortunately, that is not the NBA. It's not about grinding. It's not about staying somewhere until you can make something happen. You can build your legacy somewhere. It's about chasing that legacy. It's about chasing those places where you think that you can be successful. It's not about building that success anymore. And especially with arguably the best player of all time, LeBron James, that being his hallmark as well, we can't even use that anymore. Like, it's not even, and no hate, but like that's the reality. We can't even use that argument anymore because it's by any means necessary, regardless if it's morally or ethically correct.
But does that, so you manufacture awards, does that make you a better player?
I
just
think
think you
James.
are what you are.
We've seen James Harden talent. He's a top talent in the league. He's not going to go over there and coast at Cleveland. So once he gets healthy and he's already shown little spurts of it, like if he is a impactful player on the team and the reason as to why they win the chip, if they win the chip, then yeah, I mean you got to give him some credit for that. Yeah, he partnered with Spider, but at the same time, like if he's just going over there on the bench and get a Juwan Howard ring, then it's not going to be like I'm not going to be like, you got to move him up. Like nah, like he's going to put in the work where he's at, what he's doing. Like he's a top talent that we've seen in the NBA ever.
For sure. Yeah. I just don't think the ring changes much. It's like he is where he is, and okay, cool. You got shit. Y'all came together and y'all picked up one. Awesome. But I don't think the ring necessarily leapfrog him over guys that whoever's over him. Let's say top 15 already or top 20 already. But that's just my opinion.
I mean, pound for pound, what's he got? What's AI and Clyde got over Harden?
I was gonna say that too.
Like what?
I mean, AI doesn't have a ring.
No, I'm just saying no. Without a ring, just them players that we've seen play. Hardwood Classics, watching them play. Like, what does Harden not have that they do have?
I'm not debating on who's better. I'm just debating on I don't think the ring will change his position on where he is. Me personally, yeah, I fuck with AI. You know what I mean?
I think that when you look at it like that, though, when it comes to AI, like him not having a ring is one of the biggest, if not the biggest blemish on his career, like on his legacy. So when you're comparing people who are comparable, and when you look at it on paper, when you add something as significant as a ring that like inevitably, unfortunately, as an AI fan, like it does help him hop, you know?
I just think that, like you said, like Jordan and Kobe had the best take on the whole GOAT and everything. Trying to compare,
Eras.
different eras.
It's
There's too many variables. So for me with AI, he played in an era where you wasn't jumping around. So yes, he didn't get the ring, but his talent is undeniable. So just because somebody else may go and they bounce around and pick up rings on the way, to me that doesn't. I saw it with my two eyes. If you're better, you're better. If you're not, you're not. My opinion is going to be based on talent alone and what I saw.
Yeah, but James Harden to AI comparison is a very close.
Great
talent.
comparison. Yeah, no, that is a debate in the barbershop all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can debate that
Yes,
either
it
way. Yeah, no doubt.
He needs
Give me
some
AI.
milk.
I don't care.
Great take.
Yeah, I mean that's a
Hey, you always get these fancy ass waters, man. What's that? That from the glaciers of Antarctica?
As long as it, as long as it works. Excuse me. Just two more and we're out of here.
We try to get a sponsorship. We need that sponsorship from that good water. Put that water back up there. Shit. We need
The Amazon.
As long as it's not Avion.
They're gonna be like,
Nah.
man, this is a Tubi show. Just get that
Right.
water out of here.
Right. So,
Tubi, we will welcome you if you don't.
Wemby, yeah. Wemby, who just dropped 21-17 boards, 6 blocks, and San Antonio just beat Detroit in what some are calling a finals preview. They're now on a 9-game win streak and sitting at second in the West. Looks like they're hunting down OKC. So Spurs, are they no longer in a scary future team realm and more in a realm of they could be a dangerous threat in the Western Conference this season?
No.
I don't think nobody wants to see him in the playoffs.
I didn't think they were, but I keep coming back to Ashley's quote about when you look at young teams like this, that learning curve that most of them would have to go through, she said, is shortened with what Wemby is able to provide and how he affects the game. And as we go into the postseason and they're getting scarier and scarier and he's looking better and better, I have to hang on to her sentiment of that going into it. Not honestly, I don't always trust young talent. You have to have some type of experience, and that's kind of where I think Detroit might hit a wall with teams that have been there, kind of like with the Knicks and with Boston in that system. But I'm not gonna count them out. I can't do that with what Wemby provides and how good they look.
It's his competitive nature. That's what I feel like.
boy.
It's his competitive nature. I mean, they're full of talent. The whole team is full of talent. Like they have a young, talented team, and then you have the anchor in Wemby, who he's a freak. Like he just affects the game so much, even if he doesn't mean to. He's 7'6" and he's agile. He can shoot. He adjusts to everybody's shot. Like he's such a big anchor, and he's 3-1 against OKC, the reigning champ. So it's like it's not that he's not proving himself, because it's like the battle of the young teams, and right now he's got the upper hand on him. So I'm not surprised. Now if they win, I think it'll be crazy. But I don't think anybody wants to see them in the playoffs at all.
Yeah, they're 100% a threat. And when you talk about them being a young team and everything, I kind of go have this comparison. Like when you are about to fight somebody, one of the scariest people to fight is somebody who don't know how to fucking fight, because they do whatever the fuck to make it happen.
Yeah.
Like for real. Like you don't know the rules, you're just doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that that's kind of similar with them. Like they might not have that experience, but having that young blood that does have a lot to do with it. And then like again, when you have somebody like Wemby, like that covers a lot of the outside areas that may not be covered, that they may be lacking. But I think that there's a lot to say about young blood that's hungry, and especially the narrative that's around them right now. I think that only fuels them, honestly.
I agree. Before Chris and Aaron, you two go, I just want to throw this out here that this season the Spurs themselves are 10-5 against top 5 teams in in the league in general, right? So you look at OKC, who's number 1 in the West. They're 4-1 against. Rockets are 2-1 against. They beat Denver. They're 1-0. They tied with Timberwolves at 1-1. Pistons, they just beat Boston. They're 1-0 against. Knicks, they're 1-1. And the only team that's got their number this year would be Cleveland at 0-2. But even so, to be young and to be hungry, I know we talk about regular season, but to be 10-5 against those elite teams is saying something.
But they're 10-5 in the regular season against those teams. What's their record against those teams in the playoffs?
They got to get you to the playoffs.
They don't have a record because they've never been there before. With this roster.
Mentally, that's still like, damn, they just bust ass X amount of times. Like,
can we all agree that playoff basketball is completely different from regular season basketball?
Correct.
Yes. I agree.
Okay, so this team that you guys are saying is a threat, they might be. And like Ashley's sentiment, like what'd you say, the window for young teams, I guess, to be.
The learning curve is shortened.
The learning curve. I agree with that. I agree with that because OKC kind of proved that, but OKC did have a couple years of playoff experience underneath his belt. This team, constructed as is, has 0. They have not played in one playoff game together yet, so we don't know what we're going to get from them in the playoffs, which is a completely different environment. The games are slower. There's less possessions. The possessions mean even more. So. They'll probably get out the first round because they'll probably finish as the 2 seed. And who's the 7 seed right now in the West?
I'll tell you. In the West right now, the 7 seed is Suns. It goes Thunder, Spurs, Rockets, Nuggets, Timberwolves, Lakers, Suns, Warriors. That's the top 8.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the winner of that seed goes on to play the winner of 3-6, right?
Correct, which would be Lakers and Rockets.
Lakers and Rockets.
They got a chance against.
I think they have a chance, bro.
I'm gonna say they have a chance.
Both of
You
those
think they have a
teams.
chance to win the whole thing this year?
I would
think
say
they
this.
have a whole
I
chance?
would not be surprised if they made it there and were able to win. Yes, I'm not going to call this a surprise thing. Yes.
Well, here's another problem that they have. One, they don't know what the playoffs is like, right? I get that they're 10-5 against top 5 teams in the regular season, but right now against top 5 teams in the playoffs, they don't have a record because they've never experienced it yet. And number 2, I can tell just by watching them that they have no identity on offense. I can tell Victor Wembanyama is still trying to figure it out. I can just tell. And Stephon Castle, I can tell that sometimes he gives up shots. And one thing that I have not seen yet from this team is a pick and roll with either Stephon Castle or De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox is what's going to be the reason for this team getting as far as they can in the playoffs because he's the only one on that team with playoff experience. He knows what it's like to be in those trenches. I'm noticing that they have no identity on offense. They haven't identified the guy who's going to be the one to anchor this team to make sure everything stays under control. We don't get too far ahead of ourselves. I'm hoping De'Aaron Fox is that for them, and I think he will be. Because remember, he's out there with 2 reigning Rookie of the Years, but keep in mind, one's in their second year and one's essentially in 2.5 years because he missed half of his second season last season. And he has another rookie coming off the bench as well.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a good thing for them. They have so much talent, so somebody's got to show up. Like their talent, there's so talented.
You have to identify somebody who needs to show up for us.
It's Wemby and Fox, in my opinion. I think it's just Wemby and Fox.
I haven't seen it yet. They have no on every given night. It's somebody else who has a great night. One night it's Fox, one night it's Wemby, one night it's Castle. But who's consistently going off? Because every time San Antonio wins, it's look, Stephon Castle had 40 points. The next game, Wemby had 40 points. The next game, Dylan Harper did something fantastic. Or the next game, De'Aaron Fox did something fantastic. Who is the guy that's consistently going to take us home? You have to have that guy.
I think it's good to have that.
Yeah,
though.
it's good.
It's great to have that, but at the end of the day, but OKC, you can say that about OKC, but we know for sure Shai's going to get 30 no matter who goes off.
But I think we know for sure that it's going to be the alien in the middle of the court who's the best player in that team. just by.
Oh, I'm not
sheer
denying
stature.
who the best player on that team is,
Like-
but consistently, he's
Oh, okay.
he's not always the guy that brings them home. Yeah, he had a great game last game against Detroit, 21, 17, and 6. But if you look at that shooting percentage, it ain't all that, y'all.
You putting that bitch up.
Oh, that's
then,
what I like to
Chris,
see.
then-
Yeah, 4 for 17. Get him up, young fella. Get him up.
that bitch up.
So Chris, then if you shared the comments of having or at least giving a little grace to New York to figure it out because they don't have an identity, you think you could give the same thing to San Antonio right now?
I love San Antonio. I'm sorry, I love them. They got 8 guys in double figures, right? Straight across the board. They have. I'm not a chess player, and the queen is obviously the most powerful chess piece on the board, but the knight in chess might be the most dangerous piece on the chessboard. They got a 7'5" chess piece that you can't prepare for, and they ain't scared, right? It's like what Ashley was saying. They ain't scared of the fight. And they have the one player, they have the most dominant player in the game. Now, whether he is, scoring tonight, totally, affecting the game offensively, he's going to affect the game defensively no matter what. Is he injured? Whatever's going on, are some of the young guys playing? Do they know their roles? I don't know. But that piece right there, he can affect both sides of the game, of the floor, every single game. So to beat him 4 times in a series, I mean, I was looking at the standings as you said, and I'm like, you almost want to be, I mean, Houston is second. You might want to fall to 4th. And I know OKC
Yeah.
is the number 1 seed,
Anti-tank.
but you at least know what you're dealing with.
That's
and you can-
strategic placement.
You know what you're dealing with when you facing OKC. You have no idea what you're going to be dealing with when you're facing the Spurs. So if I'm
like that.
Houston, I'm like, go ahead, Nuggets. Y'all go ahead and move up
Take
to that
that
third
spot.
spot. Let me fall back. I don't know, man.
I like that.
It's crazy.
I like that. So let's just do a quick poll so I can clip this and just say
Before you go, I feel like the Spurs would rather see the Houston as opposed to the Nuggets.
I don't think
that's
they
what came
care.
down to, man.
I think the
I'd rather see
Spurs
Houston
is
too,
the
by the
X
way.
factor team, but I feel you on that.
I'd rather see Houston than I see the Nuggets. We see Houston struggling because
Yeah.
I agree.
obviously, you can see
They got
Katie's
good
frustration
age,
with
too.
with all that young talent around them. So I think San Antonio sees that. I'm like, oh yeah, we can definitely get them in a 4-game series. But the Nuggets, do I want to
Nuggets
go
are scary.
against?
Nuggets are
Exactly. I don't want to go up against a team that knows what it's like to be there.
See, and that was actually
What
one of my
Jokic
takes
gonna
about.
do
Never
with
seen-
that 7'5" down there?
It's not a
30,
hold on,
15, and 10.
Hold on now, Chris.
30, 15, and 10.
Fast break.
Burping babies. Hold on. Hey, somebody look up Jokic.
I don't have to wait. I'll have to go for the
Wemby.
turkey.
Yeah, bro.
I just wait for you to shoot it. Block. You know?
Jesus. And it's crazy that that not only is the record still good, and half of the damn team was out with injuries, but Jamal Murray is having the best season of his career.
Balling again. Yeah, he balling. Yeah, he balling.
That's crazy. Very excited to see how that plays out in the postseason. That said, real quick poll so I can clip that. Chris, could San Antonio win it all this year? Yes or no?
Yes.
Kyle, could they win it all this year?
Yeah, I think it's possible.
Don't even know why I'm asking this nigga, but Aaron, could they win it all?
No.
Shai, could they win it all?
You paused again. I mean,
So-
you did.
Ashley, could they win it all
Absolutely.
this year?
Sorry. Absolutely.
And I'm saying yes as well. So we have 4-1 there. Pivoting and switching gears just a little bit here. Lisa Leslie was the first truly dominant big who could do it all in the W. Asia is doing it all on a level of efficiency that is fucking terrifying. She's the only player to average 20 points and 10 rebounds in multiple seasons, and she leads the league in scoring and blocks simultaneously. In 2025, just last year, she did something that no player, whether in the W or NBA, history has ever done. She became the first athlete to win all of these awards in one single season: MVP, became a champion, Finals MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and held the scoring title. So if Asia never plays another game after tonight, has she already done enough to retire as the greatest WNBA player, or does that title still belong to someone else? And you know who I'm going to start with, obviously.
I want to say no, but then like I think about it, it's like what else does she have to do? I really couldn't answer that question. So I really think that you have to say yes. Um, and it's crazy. And I think it's hard to answer that because she's still so young in her career when you look at it really realistically. But yeah, I think if she retired today, she would go down as the greatest WNBA basketball player ever.
I agree, but Chris, I know you've seen kind of both sides of this for a while. What are your thoughts on?
A little shot.
Not at all experienced and obviously well versed in this space.
Yeah. Where is she on like all-time scoring and some of those things?
I'll get it for you.
All-time scoring, all-time rebounding. I mean, she's definitely the GOAT or within the GOAT conversation as far as peaking. So all time has taken a different form, right? You know, people are debate that maybe Jordan's peak or whoever, you know, LeBron, and man, he's done it for 20 years and stayed consistent. So the longevity has been a part of the conversation. So I would think that depending on where she is all time, you know, I don't think that she can fall off right away or retire right away and still be
Currently,
appreciated as
She
much as
currently
as
she's
what we
not
think.
top 10
Okay.
Top
Is
10
she?
what?
all-time leading scorer.
No, but the rest of those numbers are insane. Do you mind if I read them to you, Chris?
Please.
Okay, let's just go through awards and honors first. She's obviously a four-time WNBA
MVP. Yep.
MVP, three-time champion, two times Final MVP, three-time Defensive Player of the Year, two-time scoring champion, five-time block leader, seven-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year, two Olympic gold medalists. She is number one in points per game at 21.4. She is number four in rebounds per game at 9.9. She is number four in blocks at 1.9. She's the first to score 1,000 points in one season. And she is the
Really?
first to average 20 and 10 in multiple seasons. She's only 29 years old, Chris, by the way.
Jesus.
The math, the math is there.
Ah,
Yeah,
No, I'm
the
not saying
projections
she's
I
not
ain't
are
got
top
no
definitely
10 all
wrong.
the
debate to
time.
this.
I meant just
Yeah.
for scoring, she's not in the
Yeah.
top 10
Oh,
yet.
yeah, no, I
yeah.
mean,
Well,
I
she's
guess
young
the
too,
only
so.
thing
Yeah.
she's clearly she's clearly basically the GOAT from the standpoint of those accolades as far as peaking. I think you will have a group that would debate or argue if she doesn't have a little bit more longevity, if something, you know, we don't expect anything to happen, injuries or anything like that, and or if she doesn't continue, you know, to be within that maybe that top 10 all-time scoring. You'll have some that are going to be like, you know, hey, whoever is within that top five, top 10, that's the closest. I would maybe Diana Taurasi, or I'm assuming maybe Candace Parker and definitely Cynthia Cooper and Swoops. I'm sure they're all probably somewhere within that top five, top 10 range. One would argue that, you know, maybe the eras and things of that nature, it was maybe easier to do it or something like that with some of the individual awards, and they did it, sustained it for a long time, and we're on that. But I don't know if there's any person that can match these overall. I mean, she has the most hardware. That's obvious. So that's a hell of a debate right there. But as of right now, I don't see no reason why you could say no. For my knowledge, my information, she would be the, you know, she would have the greatest peak of anyone in WNBA.
I think one of the greatest questions in WNBA history is what if Maya Moore didn't retire early? What would her trophy case look like? Or I'll take it back even further. What if the WNBA was around when Cheryl Miller was playing basketball?
Come on now.
What would that
How
look
you
like?
talking? Yeah.
What would that look like?
Come on now.
105 points in a high school game? Come on
Man,
now.
come on. Shit.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's for like real hoopers that really know ball. Like, I don't even think that's a question. Like, Sharon Miller is still considered the best women's basketball player of all time. But when you're talking about the WNBA, like, I would have to lean with Asia Wilson. And I think that when I thought about that question, Maya Moore did come to my mind too because she retired early. She was like 33 when she retired, around there. That's what, only 4 years older than Asia. And if you like look at her history, Asia Wilson gonna have one or two more rings in 4 years. Like if history is gonna continue as it's been. So I think that's definitely the thing when you talk about Asia Wilson. And like I will say that it would be a little bit different because I don't think Maya Moore was in her peak when she retired.
No, she was only 29, but she officially retired at 33. But her last season played, she was only 29.
Really?
Yeah, so
Oh.
she retired.
Hold up.
Like she
Yeah,
played her
'cause she
final
took, like, a
season when
leave.
Asia Wilson was
Yeah.
29,
Side
but
by
she didn't officially
side.
announce it to like 4 years
Wow.
later that she wasn't coming back. So imagine that trophy
Yeah.
case.
How
Yeah,
many
no, but
rings did she win, Maya Moore?
Hold
Does
on.
she have 4?
4.
I
she
think
has 4.
maybe 3.
I think it's 4.
4.
Bro.
I'm pretty sure it's 4. Yeah.
Come on, AI. Tell me what we got now. Let's go.
Maya Moore was the truth.
She has 4. Yep.
Okay, she
Yeah,
got
it's crazy.
4.
She has one more than Asia has right now at the same age.
Okay.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah, but I will also say it's a little bit different because Asia built the Aces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally,
That-
like built
Fair
the
enough.
Aces. Like literally, I think was she the first like class for the Aces? I don't know what you call it, like the first rookie class, one or two.
For
Like,
that expansion team.
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was like
Understand.
a move. They moved from San Antonio. But yeah, like she
Right.
literally has the Aces have been around in Vegas for what 4 or 5 years, 5 6 years, and in that time, Asia Wilson has literally built them to be what they are today. So I think that's a little bit different, because Minnesota was stacked.
Yeah.
Minnesota is literally has such a long pedigree of greatness, and they continue to, and they have one of the best, if not the best, coach of all time, and who has continuously been that. So when you really look at it, like I don't know, like I think that's a great comparison though, because Maya Moore is considered one of the best. It's in that conversation 100%, and it literally is. You can look at them side by side, and each has their pros, or like I guess added, like somebody has more of this and the other one has more of that. So
Yeah. But yeah, you're right, Ashley. They was San Antonio first, and then when they moved to Las Vegas, their very first team, or not team, but very first player they selected was Asia. So she's been there from beginning to end. But before that, they were actually called the Utah Stars. They went from
Ooh.
Utah to San Antonio to then Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Any final thoughts before we close this out?
Yes, I
Well,
want to give
yeah.
thoughts and prayers to Chris Bosh and his family. Found out
Yeah.
this morning that he blacked out and woke up in his own pool of blood before going on a date with his better half, his old lady, his wife. He's still kicking, you know what I'm saying? I think he's in the hospital right now. He's making a full recovery. He's made a statement, and wishing him nothing but the best in a speedy recovery.
Recover.
For sure.
Mom was just on the W. I just think it's great that we're able to actually have this conversation now about who's the greatest. It just shows like the development and how far it's came, whether it comes to respect for the W and everything that's happened with the women's basketball, and it's just only going to continue to get better. So,
Very well said, Kyle. And on that note, then that's the show for tonight. We look forward to seeing you guys on Friday. Obviously, tonight we looked at stats. We argued competitive spirit and greatness of all players. We even seen a couple of receipts in terms of Asia and her greatness. So whether you think the 65-game rule is a masterpiece or a mistake, one thing is for certain: the league is changing right before our eyes. So again, we'll be back Friday. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. We need the love. We love the support from you guys. Everyone say good night to the chat.
Night, chat.
Deuces.
Zach, appreciate y'all.
Good night.
shit.
All right. 1 second.
It's funny how I
Motherfucker
looked
is
up.
not stopping. Hold on. Don't say nothing crazy.
Oh, okay.
The stop button's not working. Yeah.
Hey, YouTube, we just hanging out behind the scenes, you know what I mean? Checking
Crazy.
the
It's
makeup.
not stopping.
My shit was at 1%.
Stop.
It's crazy. As soon as I type in Cheryl Miller, it's like she is widely considered the greatest women's player to never play in the league.
Right.
First set.
How good do you have to be that good?
How
Google
good
to come
you
up
have
with
to
it, right?
be.
That's incredible. That's impressive. Yeah, Cheryl. Yeah, she is.
This motherfucker is not stopping, bro.
Come on, YouTube. We need you to stop. Stop.
Stopping.
Fuck it, we
Oh, yeah,
gonna
and
do
actually,
it. We
I
gonna
meant to say
do
that
a
earlier,
mafia
Darren.
con. Tossing that.
Shit, bro.
Darren, you brought
baby.
it up earlier when it came to the winning percentage. That's why it's another reason why I got Cade above the Celtics, because their winning percentage is above the top 5.
Cade or the Celtics? JB, you mean? Over JB?
Oh yeah, you're right. That's why I got Cade over
one man
JB,
above the whole
because
team.
his
Right,
winning percentage
right,
is
well,
top 5.
Cade better than the whole Celtics. You know what I mean? Like,
Shit, he is. Take JB off. Like,
Whoa. Calm down.
Yeah.
he the best player in 2028 Olympics.
Who?